Hey, guess who's back, guys? LoganJYA here with Drytron 22.0, and I'm not gonna lie to you, this really might be one of my favorite builds yet. At least since EVA got banned. I'm telling you so much, it plays just like old Drytron, and we got combo tutorials here for you at the end, so be sure to stick around and check those out too. I'm gonna also preface it by saying the combo tutorials do not do the deck justice. You really have to play this build to get a feel for it. So give it a try, let me know what you think in the comments down below, and without further ado, I bring you Drytron 22.0 featuring our friend Herald of Perfection. Let's get into it. Alright homies, you already know what it be. Drytron 22.0, the lists just keep on coming and they keep getting better. Like I said in the intro, guys, this is probably one of my favorite builds I've ever played of Drytron. You know, with the exception of when EVA was legal. But this feels so much like when EVA was legal. I gotta tell you that, guys, and I think you're gonna have a great time. This has led me to multiple locals tops, including an undefeated last week in 5 rounds. This deck just goes ham, and I think you guys are really going to dig this build, and some of the logic behind some of these choices that makes it a really applicable choice for the current format. I'm not going to preface this too much, let's just dive right in. Alright guys, basics, 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 triple alpha, that will never change, as well as triple zeta, essential. Now this is where we diverge, alright? I'm just going to tell you right now, bro, this still feels weird to me, but I have yet to get punished for it. Maybe that'll change in the near future, but 1 gamma and 1 delta. And no, I'm not doing that because I only have 1 misprint of each. I'm actually legitimately playing only 1 of each of these names. Now, let me preface this by saying that I think that this build plays best with a 1-name hand out of any build. It plays just like old Drytron does, and you're definitely going to want to stick around to the end of the video because I'll show you how to do the 1-name hand combo that still ends on a live orange like to play through Dark Ruler, as well as perfection for double negates plus IP Mask Arena. So it is still gas, don't you worry. But yeah, it's very weird, you know. Obviously, you're less resilient against DD Crow, but the logic is you're backing it up with an orange light or a perfection before they even have the chance to DD Crow you, before you would even put these names into rotation. Now, are we playing too few names? I know a lot of people may be commenting that. I tell you what, give this list a try. Tell me how often you're missing those names. Tell me how many times you get punished. I'd love to hear from you, because for me, out of practicing this deck for like over a week and change now, I've yet to get punished for this particular reason. Unless you count a brick, which does occasionally happen, but I'm also legitimately surprised at how unoften this deck bricks. Anyway, that's it for the Drytron names, but it's weird. It's definitely weird. It's going to take some time to adapt to, I'll say that much for sure. Moving on to our fairy lineup, we're playing 1 diviner. This is so consolidated. This is probably the most consolidated package of any Drytron deck I've ever played. We're only playing 1 diviner, even though we're playing the perfection build, so we're not committing our normal summon to Vanity's Ruler. We're still only playing 1 diviner. I think there may be room, maybe someday, to squeeze in another copy, but right now, again, have yet to be punished for only playing the 1. And I'll explain a little bit later on how you're still getting full utility out of this homie. Moving on from there, 2 orange lights in the main. Again, this is a perfection strat. We gotta lock and load those orange lights. Now, mind you, this is going to be our main backup plan against the Dark Ruler No More and droplets. There's so many times where you're going to be ending your turn where it doesn't matter if you get Dark Ruler because you've got 2 live orange lights, or the ability to get 2 live orange lights in your hand, as well as some additional interruption, which we're going to talk about in a second. To go pair nicely with these guys, got homie White Layer and Alphen Bing chilling with us. Again, little baby, this is great value version of EVA, okay? It's baby EVA. Not as good, but accomplishes the mission. For those of you who are not in the know, allow me to educate you. When White Layer hits the grave, it searches Alphen. It's that simple. They're both light fairies, which means they're negates for your perfection or for your orange light. It's that simple, guys, I'm telling you. And so easy to search this during your combo that you're just locking and loading upwards of 3 to 4 to 5 perfection negates. You can have, this is what I mean by it plays like old Drytron. There will be so many times where you put your opponent on better have it, even if they do have it, you've got orange lights and additional backup plans locked and loaded, but what I'm saying is you have a negate for almost every card in their hand. Isn't that great? Sucks to be them. That's all I gotta say about that. Moving on to the next card. This is probably one of the spiciest cards in the list, and I can't take credit for it. One Trias Hierarchica. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I know some people are gonna correct me in the comments, but I'm gonna call it Trias. I don't really care that there's not a second S. This card is diafreaking-bolical, okay? I'm going to spend some time talking about this. And again, shout out to my man Sorvent, who's the one who put me on this, and I ain't been off it since he put me on it. So what ends up happening is, whether it's your one-name hand combo or a standard two-name hand combo, there's a lot of times where you're going to be passing on a Beatrice. You're leaving the Beatrice on field. And you know what you're sending with that Beatrice during your opponent's draw phase? You're sending this big chungus right here. So in case you get Dark Rulered, you contribute the Beatrice that's left on board as well as your Perfection to special summon this and pop a card. Non-targeting pop, mind you. And it's got a little bonus effect. If you have 3 fairies to tribute, you can actually draw 2 cards on top of that effect. That's absolutely insane. So you know what you can actually do is line yourself up with an additional Benten on board. So you can legit just leave a Benten on board, send this in the opponent's draw phase, they Dark Rule you. Guess what? You sack the Perfection, the Beatrice, and that Benten, special summon it, pop a card, draw 2, and then get a search for that Benten on resolution. Again, this card is just diafreaking-bolical, guys. There's not much else to say. It's cool. Shout out Sorvent. Great idea. Alright, moving on from there, we're going into the rituals, my friends. And dude, like what? Konami, do you feel like you biffed it yet? Because we're tearing it up. I don't know if you guys were on my stream this past Monday, but we spent a lot of time talking about how good Drytron is doing in the current format. Triple Benten, 1 Natasha, winning time, steal cards, very easy. I already told you, it's a perfection-focused build. I went with the Ghost in this profile. I was thinking about breaking out the ulti for this one, but oh man, I wish I did a better lighting angle if I was going to use the Ghost. Anyway, yeah, dude, you lock and load so many negates. Like, literally, I bet Triff is jealous with about how many negates that we put up. And then, of course, we've got Draconids. Listen, don't cut this card. Do not cut this card. You might be thinking about cutting this card right now. Don't do it. I'm going to tell you why. A lot of times, you need a machine in hand to ritual summon when you get locked out of things. They're cutting you off names. It's an amazing backup plan to have. You also can search it and then use it to play through Scythe. If you get Scythe, you can still kill your opponent, and Draconids is how you do it, alright? So, it's not exclusive to OTKing through Scythe to the Megalith build. Draconids can be your one enabler that lets you get things done. That's it for the monster lineup. I'm going to go through spells super fast. 2 Nova and 2 Fafnir, a bit more of a standard ratio nowadays, so hopefully that's not too much of a surprise. The 1 Medionis Drytron, our beautiful ritual spell. Triple Emergency, maxing out on that guy for sure. And then triple prep. And then triple pre-prep, baby. Oh god, yes. This card is insane. I think I said it in my last video that we talked about Drytron. I've been saying it on my stream. This is 3 more copies of Call By at worst. At best, it's lining up that perfection for 100% free. This is an inherent +1. Now, yes, it does suck if you draw the Dawn of the Herald. Clearly, it sucks if you draw the Dawn of the Herald. But I'm telling you right now, it's worth it. In this build in particular, it's 100% worth it to play the pre-prep and Dawn package 100%. I think if I'm ever going to play Perfection or any Herald of the Ritual Monster, I'm absolutely playing pre-prep in that build. So you gotta do it, guys. Just trust me on this one. Give it a try for yourself. You'll see how far it really goes. Our only hard-going second card in the main is triple copies of Droplets. Usual logic applies. Drytron can rip through boards. Will there be times where it's just a little bit too much or our hand isn't good enough to do it? Maybe so, but you're still going to get them in game 2 and 3, baby, 100%. And Droplets is just the best card that we can play as a hard-going second card. That also doubles as a going first card, being a quick play spell. And then our one of final spells, 1 Call By, and 1 Foolish Burial. Guess what, guys? This list is a mean 40 cards. That's right, baby. 40 cards. Maximize consistency, so you maximize your chances of seeing pre-prep plus Ben 10 or prep. It's that simple. Or Alpha, or Diviner. There's so many ways to do it. Anyway, guys, let's get into this extra deck real quick. Starting things off, double copies of Moy Beta. Shout out Chaos Peyton Games. Brio, you're a goat. You play 2 in this build. Nothing surprising there. 1 Downard, 1 Zeus, the traditional package, and then the 1 Beatrice. Beatrice is more essential than ever in this build. If you cut this, you're insane. That's it for the Exceed lineup. Moving on from there, the Lynx. We got one relinquished anima. I'm using this since we are again siding Lava Golem. You never really, at least I haven't really missed the down arrow from the Link Karibo. I can see a case as to where it may come up, but I enjoy the additional removal that relinquished anima allows for. Moving on from there, the one copy of Sprite Elf, essential piece of so many end boards, trust me, and it's awesome to back up your perfection with an elf pointing to it, because that means they can't even attempt to force negates with things like Imperm, or if you're playing it Striker for whatever reason, Widow Anchor, things like that. It's really cool, don't sleep on it. IP Masquerena, another essential end board piece that comes up all the time. There's a lot of times where we'll be using the IP on your own turn to make the Sprite Elf, and then on your opponent's turn, you can bring back the IP off of the Elf, which is really, really cool play. On top of that, we got the one copy of Nightmare Phoenix. Occasionally, you will also make this on your first turn to go into the Elf in case you have enough fodder to go into the IP on top of it. So that means you're ending on a live Elf plus the IP, which is really, really cool. Moving on, one Nightmare Unicorn, additional removal, and a target to tag into off of the IP. The Boral Sword, how we close out games. I'm so off access code. Access code, you can get out of my life. I don't play in this deck anymore. I'm never going to be swayed, at least I don't think. If you want to try and sway me, take a stab in the comments, but I'm telling you it ain't going to be easy. Moving on from there, one Apollosa. This is going to be another one of your key IP tag out targets. You can theoretically end on this on the first turn board, but I wouldn't. I usually prefer to go for an elf play rather than an Apollosa pet play. That's just my personal opinion, but I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. And I do play the one Underworld Goddess still. Again, just don't want to auto lose to annoying Towers monsters. Having a free out to them in the extra deck is a very good relieving feeling to have. Now, mind you, if you're going to change this slot, the things that instantly come to mind, Fuko, Lyrilusk Assembled Nightingale. Give those a try if you're not digging the Underworld Goddess, but it's cheap as can be right now, so there's not really an excuse to not have it, and I think it's worth the slot and worth a try. Closing things out, we've got our Herald targets, the one Entis and the one Herald of the Arclight, absolutely essential. There's a lot of times where you're going to be sending this Entis on your opponent's turn when you're bringing back Diviner with Elf. Just saying. So that's it for the 15 card extra deck. Let's wrap things up with the side deck, and I'm telling you guys, you are going to dig what we have in here. There is some spice in here, so get excited. First and foremost, shameless plug to the GG for Free, our free tournament series. Join the Discord if you want to see when the next GG for Free is about to be. Wednesday nights, guys, Wednesday nights. Moving on from there, okay, I'm going to dive right in with the spice, okay, guys? Trust me on this one. I'm siding a green light and a purple light. Yo, hear me out, okay? I went full steam ahead in terms of playing the Heralds, okay? Like, I didn't just switch back to perfection. I even put these guys in here because they both have applications in certain matchups. You know how good it feels to negate a Mystic Mine with green light after getting Dark Ruler and the opponent thinks they're about to cook you? It feels pretty good, just gonna let you know that. Same thing goes for the purple. You can negate things like Skill Drain. You can negate any of the obnoxious trap cards as long as it's not a counter trap. So you stay ready with these things. It's just another means of circumventing situations and adapting for particular builds. This is one of the few cards that can stop Harpy's Feather Storm. Now, mind you, do you have to draw it with a fairy? Yes, you do. It's unfortunate. I mean, you know, there's a lot you can do. You just set these cards up. It's worth a shot. Trust me. You just adapt based on the matchup. You can use this to deal with the Flunder Trap. You can use it to deal with Eldritch Traps, the Tier Traps. Whatever you got that's problematic, you use it. Same thing goes for the green light. You know, negate starters, negate blowouts, negate all that obnoxious stuff. Just stay ready with them. Trust me, guys, it's worth a shot. Give it a shot. Let me know how it works for you. I do still side the one copy of Lancia. Gotta stay ready for those decks that be banishing. It is searchable. There's not much of an excuse not to play it. Moving on from there, triple copies of Lava Golem, baby. Big Chungus is back. One of our best going second cards in the side deck. Just slap it on top of a board and flip your opponent the bird. Pretty simple stuff. Speaking of the bird, we got triple copies of DD Crow up in here because obviously Tier Element is still extremely oppressive. We got to stay ready on that, all right? So that's why we are siding the triple copies of DD Crow. But it's not just good against them. It's good against a lot of decks. So I think it's worth bringing in. It's really good against the Math Mechs. There's a lot of decks you want to stay ready with. And with DD Crow, that's how you be doing it. Triple copies of the Cosmic Cyclone, you bet we got to stay ready for that back row removal. Keen eyes may notice that we weren't maining a Mystic Mine out. Now, here's the logic. If your combo goes through and your opponent's relying on a mine to to get the win. If you line up the Trias Hierarchica, you can actually use that in response to Mystic Mine and blow it up that way, alright? So just putting that out there for you, but we do side the Triple Cosmic 100%. With Runic running around, I don't think Twin is the way because they can protect so easily. You gotta Cosmic that joint, get that fountain out of there. And then triple copies of Imperm to round things off. Again, both of our hand traps that are in the side deck can be drawn as a 6 card. I've talked about that a lot, but are also just the most blanket applicable for the meta. All right, guys? Also, again, keen eyes. We'll see. We are not siding Ultimate Slayer. We are not siding Dark Ruler no more. I didn't want to side Ultimate Slayer because it took up too many slots, and I didn't want to side Dark Ruler no more because I want to still be able to kill my opponent while going second, okay? Because there's a lot of times where you're going to be siding out some of those high engine pieces that make your end board as oppressive as it normally is. Therefore, you're not super duper set up in a situation to deal with whatever, like, you know, opponent may have on the clapback. That's why I think it's just a bit more convenient to go for the kill. Anyway, guys, that is 22.0 deck list. But we're not done yet, baby. We got combos for you. That's right, not one, but 2 combos in this particular video. I'm going to show you Alpha Zeta, and I'm going to show you Name plus Benten, baby. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, homies, combo number 1, Alpha Zeta stuff. I'm gonna preface this by saying the combo is gonna look mid with the end board. Now, mind you, opening up Alpha Zeta Benten guarantees a far higher ceiling board, obviously, and there's so many ways you end up doing that. But I'm gonna show you what you can do with just Alpha and Zeta. Now, mind you, the game plan of this deck, it's built around cards like Pre-Prep, the ritual spell that summons the Perfection. When you open up with the additional Benten in your hand, you're actually gonna be using your Diviner to search Dawn of the Herald instead of an additional Benten. But I'm flagging for you right now. Again, don't get freaked out that the end board doesn't look absolutely insane off of Alpha Zeta, because the deck isn't built to run off of just Alpha Zeta. And when you see that this end board looks very similar to the one-name hand end board, you'll understand the importance of Benten in this build. This deck isn't all just about the Drytrons this time around. Benten is really taking the spotlight, and that's really how it functions. Now, I'm going to also add in, if you chose to play Ida 10, you actually can do a lot more with just Alpha Zeta. But I didn't want to really put in the Ida 10 in this build because it feels like kind of a do-nothing card. At the same time, it enables really good plays with just Alpha Zeta, but you don't want to be playing with just Alpha Zeta. So I'm going to show you how to do this combo. Just that's my little disclaimer here. Even though it doesn't look crazy, trust me, it's small but powerful, and this isn't necessarily how the deck is built to run, but you should still know how to do it. Alright guys, starting off the combo, Alpha, pitch, Zeta, no surprises here, give yourself Benten. Zeta, pitch Benten, summon itself, search Medionis, Benten, search Diviner here, okay, trust me. Overlay these guys, summon Moy Beta effect, Foolish Burial that Gamma, send that joint to the graveyard like so. Next, activate that Medionis, detach off Moy Beta, summon back that Benten. Boom, boom, boom. Very simple stuff. Normal summon Diviner, use its effect, sending Herald to the Arclight, and then use Arclight's effect, searching yourself another copy of Benten. Next, this is where things are going to start getting weird, okay? So don't lose yourself, but trust me, okay? Overlay for Beatrice, effective Beatrice, detaching, and then you're going to send off the Perfection. You are going to send the Perfection in this particular play. You gotta trust me on this one, alright guys? You use Medionis, reduce to add back, and listen, the whole logic here is that we're saving that Gamma. So in case we get hit with a nib, we're technically playing around it because we still have a Benten at hand and a Gamma engrave. Okay guys, that's the logic there. Now we're gonna activate Medionis, detach off Moy Beta, summon back Perfection from grave, okay? Now, mind you, we are about to leave ourselves vulnerable if we don't have a hard open fairy, but we're going to use Gamma's effect, pitch off that Benten, special summon itself, an additional Drytron from grave, and then we'll use Benten's effect in the graveyard, and that's going to search ourselves the orange light, okay? Now, next, we're going to start stocking up the board with our Link monsters. So we're going to take Zeta and Gamma, it doesn't really matter, throw them into an IP on the top, and then take the Moy Beta and the IP and turn them into a Sprite Elf. Now, the reason why we're doing that is because we now have targeting protection on the Perfection and the Beatrice. So when we pass turn to our opponent, we can use Beatrice's effect, detach, send the White Layer, and use White Layer's effect to add the Alphan. So now we've got 2 Perfection negates minimum locked and loaded right there, and if we get Dark Rulered, we have a guaranteed orange light to go along with it. If we do not get Dark Ruler, of course we got the 2 perfection negates. On top of that, we have the effect of Sprite Elf that can either bring back Diviner or bring back IP and then use the IP to go into an Apollousa. So you're ending on so many interruptions here. So think about it. We bring back the IP after the opponent summons a monster, use these 3 to make an Apollousa, or if we used up all our perfections, use all of them to make an even bigger Apollousa, or you can make cards like Unicorn, you can basically Underworld Goddess. The world is your oyster, let me put it that way. So even though the end board looks kind of mid, only 2 perfection negates is what you're thinking, that's not how the deck is built to run. Let's get into it. Alright guys, to round out this video, I'm going to show you the 1-name hand combo. In this build, it literally ends on the same end board as the Alpha Zeta combo, minus 1 little thing. Now, is it more fragile? Yes, it is. It technically is. If you have a hard-drawn fairy, it's not going to save you. And speaking of the last combo, I wanted to mention, if you didn't want to open yourself up to Nib, if you didn't hard-draw a fairy, you could also tribute the Moy Beta on field for Gamma and just hold the Benten. And only difference is you won't have an orange light in hand to back it up, alright? So, you gotta pick and choose and roll with the punches with these builds. I'm showing you these things. Think about these combos as more of templates to add on to an already existing hand. There's 3 more cards in here. So think about it. If you have hard-drawn fairies, that's gonna change your plays. If you have a hard-drawn orange light, that's gonna change your plays. If you legit only have these 2 cards, this is what you're gonna do. And I'm gonna show you how to do it. Now, of course, this can be Nova or Emergency. And it also can be any other name if you have 2 Bentens in hand, or, or Benten Prep or whatever. So this can literally be any other name in that situation. Now, mind you, if you have Benten in hand, this also could be Prep. It doesn't really make a difference. And also, one more thing to say, if you open pre-prep, I'm not even going to show combos with that. If you guys want to see that, let me know in the comments, but I'm going to let you know, if you open pre-prep, you're just turbo into Benten. That's all you want to do. If you open pre-prep, just find a way to Benten as fast as possible, summon your perfection, and then have fun with it. That is my advice for that. And that is when you get to those really, really high ceiling boards. I'm not showing you those because it's pretty easy. You know what you do? You activate Dawn of the Herald, you tribute Benten, you summon perfection. You get to add back a Benten, and then you get to search an orange. It's that simple. Or you search a white layer, depending on the situation. So I'm letting you guys know how it works in that situation, but now I'm going to show you how to do it under not optimal situation, all right? Zeta and Benten, let's get into it. All right, guys, again, the end board is going to look really similar to what we had earlier, but I'm going to speed run this joint, all right? So Zeta effect tribute Benten gets you Medionis, and Benten gets you Diviner here. Then you normal summon that Diviner and use its effects, send the Arc Light. Arc Light here will search you another copy of Benten. Next we'll activate Medionis, tributing the Zeta from our field, summoning back that Benten. It looks very similar to some of the other 1-name hand combos that I've shown in the past. Overlay these 2 guys, summon off your Beatrice, and use Beatrice's effect, detaching that Benten. Here you're going to send Gamma. Usual deal, right? So now we'll take Gamma, tribute that Benten from our hand, special summoning it, and that Zeta back from earlier, like so. Then we can tribute the Benten once again, and this time around, we're going to be grabbing ourselves the last copy of Benten out of deck. That's right, we're running through every single one of them in this 1-name hand combo. We'll use Medionis' effect on Gamma, reduce to add back, like so, and then we'll overlay these 2 to summon a Moy Beta Fafnir, and Moy Beta is going to send us Alpha. That's right, we haven't used Alpha this whole time yet, so we're going to send that Alpha off like so. Then we can activate the effect of Alpha, tributing off that Benten, summoning itself back, and searching off the perfection. Then Benten's effect will search off the orange light, like so. Now we activate Medionis, detach off Moy Beta, summon out perfection over here, like so. Very good. And next, the last step, you take these 2 guys right here, your Alpha and your Moy Beta, shove them into an IP on the top and call it a day, which means you're guaranteed perfection for 1. Oh, you thought it was just 1? Just kidding, homie. Beatrice effect in the opponent's draw phase is going to send you the white layer, and the white layer, like so, boom, boom, is going to get you that other negate and make your orange light live while playing around Dark Ruler no more. So you're still guaranteed an orange light negate through Dark Ruler, and if they don't have it, you're guaranteed 2 perfection negates on top of an IP tag out into either an Apo after you use up your perfections, or into a Unicorn whenever you want, using any of the 3 other cards you opened in your hand. Really, really cool stuff here, guys. I'm telling you, the possibilities are endless with this build. And again, the ceiling goes even higher if you add in an I to 10. I'm thinking about it. I might play test with it. I'm enjoying it without it at the same time. but we all gotta test it, you know what I mean? So let's get on to testing. You guys let me know how your testing goes. I'd love to hear about it in the comments, or come on over to Discord, come on over to Twitch. Let me know how it's working for you. But that's it for this deck profile and combo tutorial, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like, dislike if you dislike it. That's all I got today. LoganJYA signing off. Have a great day, and I'll see you chumps later. Peace.